If you thought the Sister Wives drama was over just because Christine, Janelle, and Mary walked away, you need to sit down right now, because what I am about to expose is, quite frankly, the most shocking, horrifying, and absolute slap in the face Kody Brown has ever experienced. We have breaking news today that is rocking the reality television community. Rumors are swirling that Robyn Brown, the favored wife, the woman who Kody destroyed his entire family for, is secretly plotting her escape. Today, we are exposing the ultimate betrayal. Are Robyn and Kody headed for a multi-million-dollar bankruptcy? And is Robyn secretly packing her bags behind his back? I have extremely rare, deleted screenshots of a real estate listing that dropped at 2 in the morning, and wait until you hear what an insider just revealed. Before we uncover these deleted files and expose the blueprint of Robyn's secret escape plan, you need to impress the like button and subscribe to this channel right now. We are bringing you exclusive, alleged insider leaks that you will not find anywhere else. And subscribing ensures you never miss a single piece of this breaking puzzle. Do it now, because what comes next will leave you completely speechless. Let us descend into the horrifying truth of what is actually happening behind the closed doors of the Flagstaff mansion. Picture the sprawling acreage of Coyote Pass. The wind howls through the empty, muddy lots, whipping through the pine trees and casting long, sinister shadows over a barren piece of land that was supposed to house a patriarchal empire. Instead, it has become a graveyard of broken promises and financial devastation. The trenches dug for water cisterns sit like open wounds in the earth, a physical manifestation of a family culture that has bled out and died. According to multiple unverified but highly credible whispers echoing through the most elite reality television circles, Robyn Brown has allegedly been taking clandestine meetings in downtown Flagstaff. She is not shopping for expensive art or adding to her collection of Precious Moments figurines. She has reportedly been sitting in the mahogany-paneled boardrooms of a high-profile real estate attorney. The shocking announcement making waves this week is that the Coyote Pass property, the very dreamland that served as the catalyst for breaking this sprawling family apart, is supposedly facing imminent foreclosure, and Robyn is actively preparing to jump ship. Sources are claiming with increasing volume that a cold, hard realization has finally washed over her. The TLC money, the royalty checks, the scattered remaining income streams, they simply cannot sustain the suffocating weight of their current lifestyle. Without the steadfast, quiet financial backing of Janelle, without the massive multi-level marketing income of Mary, without the safety net of the family pot, Robyn is absolutely terrified. She is looking at the spreadsheets, staring down a canyon of debt, and she refuses to go down with Kody's rapidly sinking ship. For over a decade, Kody operated under the delusion that his wives would infinitely tolerate his financial mismanagement as long as he tossed them scraps of his attention. But now, there are no other wives to deflect the blame onto. The mansion they share is reportedly suffocating under a mountain of unpaid property taxes and looming balloon payments. The walls of that house, once filled with the chaotic noise of a massive plural family attempting to maintain an illusion of harmony, are now echoing with the dark, heavy silence of impending ruin. Robyn is allegedly calculating every single asset, every piece of jewelry, every square foot of land with her name attached to it, preparing to sever the financial arteries that connect her to a man who is spiraling out of control. Now, you know I do not just bring these monumental claims to light without presenting the receipts to back them up. Let us engage in some deep digital detective work and look at the social media proof that quietly dropped into the shadows of the internet just 48 hours ago. Imagine the glow of a smartphone screen in the pitch black of the night. It is exactly midnight on a Tuesday. The rest of the world is sleeping, but Robyn's daughter Aurora is awake, scrolling through the infinite void of the internet. Take a close look at this digital footprint from Aurora's Pinterest account, specifically a dimly lit board ominously titled New Beginnings. At the stroke of midnight, Aurora deliberately saved a pin that contained a chilling quote. It read, "Sometimes walking away from a toxic man is the only way to save your peace." Let that sink in. A toxic man. Who else in her immediate, intensely sheltered orbit could she possibly be referring to? This is not just teenage angst. This is a massive red flag waving frantically from inside a deeply troubled household. But the rabbit hole goes much deeper, and the evidence gets significantly crazier. A highly dedicated digital sleuth embedded deep within a private, heavily wooded Sister Wives investigative group managed to capture a screenshot of a Zillow listing that was abruptly deleted just moments after it appeared. It was for a secluded, ultra-luxury townhouse tucked away in the red rocks of Sedona, Arizona. The listing status was quietly flipped to pending sale in the dead of night. But the most damning detail of all? The buyer's agent attached to this mysterious transaction is allegedly the exact same real estate agent Robyn utilized to secure the sprawling Flagstaff mansion years ago. Are we expected to believe this is merely a wild coincidence? In the world of high-stakes reality, television divorces, there are no coincidences. It appears increasingly obvious that a secret, separate life is being funded and orchestrated right under Kody's increasingly paranoid nose. To truly understand the gravity of this impending collapse, we must analyze the psychological wreckage of how we arrived at this point of no return. Kody's entire existence, his ego, his daily identity, was completely wrapped up in being the undisputed patriarch of a massive, obedient, plural family. He thrived on the competition between the women. He fed on their desperation for his time. With that empire reduced to ashes, his anger has multiplied to toxic, radioactive levels. We all watched him stand on that patio, his face contorted in absolute fury, screaming that it was a knife in the kidneys. But what happens when the cameras pack up their equipment and leave? What happens when the production crew goes home and the heavy wooden doors of the mansion click shut? The dynamic between Kody and Robyn has fundamentally, irreversibly shifted. Robyn signed a spiritual contract for plural marriage. She continuously wept about her desperate desire to sit on a porch with her sister wives, growing old in a manufactured utopia of shared sisterhood. Now, the porch is empty. The sister wives have scattered across the country, thriving in their independence. Robyn is completely trapped in a monogamous marriage with a deeply bitter, financially desperate, profoundly isolated man. There is no Christine to mock. There is no Janelle to ignore. There is no Mary to emotionally breadcrumb. Robyn is now bearing the brutal brunt of 100% of Kody's unbridled narcissistic rage. Her perpetual victim mentality, a tool she has sharpened and utilized flawlessly for over a decade, is violently clashing with Kody's shattered superiority complex. They are two master manipulators who have suddenly found themselves locked in a cage with no one left to manipulate but each other. The psychological warfare happening inside that house is reportedly staggering. Kody demands total, blind loyalty and submission to soothe his bruised ego, but Robyn's survival instinct is heavily tied to financial security, a security that Kody can no longer provide. The realization that he is no longer the wealthy reality television kingpin, but a man drowning in bad real estate investments and shattered public perception has fundamentally shattered the foundation of their union. She looks at the mud of Coyote Pass and sees a financial prison. He looks at it and sees the ghost of a kingdom he threw away. And as the bank inches closer to calling in their debts, the illusion of their perfect soulmate connection is disintegrating into a bitter, ruthless fight for financial survival. And you do not just have to take my digital detective work or my word for it. Exclusive, deeply embedded insider, someone who reportedly has intimate, day-to-day knowledge of the family's darkest secrets and is highly rumored to be closely connected to Robyn's former nanny, spilled absolutely everything to a tabloid just yesterday. This source paints a picture of a household that has devolved into an absolute psychological war zone. According to these leaked accounts, the heavy, custom-built walls in that Flagstaff mansion are physically shaking from the sheer volume of the screaming matches echoing through the halls. The blame game has reached a fever pitch of desperation. Kody reportedly screams that Robyn is the sole reason the entire viewing public and his own children have turned against him, effectively destroying his reputation and his earning power. In retaliation, Robyn allegedly screams right back, blaming Kody's massive ego and catastrophic financial decisions for entirely destroying the family bank account. She cries every single day, the source claims, but for the very first time in over a decade, it is not for the TLC cameras. It is not a manipulation tactic to garner sympathy from viewers. She is crying out of sheer, unadulterated terror of being left entirely penniless. This unprecedented source validation changes absolutely everything we thought we knew about their united front. This is no longer just a rough patch in a complex marriage. This is a total nuclear meltdown of their union, a burning down of the house from the inside out. To truly comprehend the sheer magnitude of this alleged betrayal, we have to travel back through the dark historical context of this family's financial ruin. We must look at the meticulously crafted foundation of Robyn's involvement in the Brown family ecosystem. Cast your mind back to the year 2010. When Robyn first entered the family structure, she did not arrive as an equal financial partner bringing resources to the table. She arrived carrying the heavy anchor of over $30,000 in crippling credit card debt, accumulated specifically from Victoria's Secret and other high-end retail stores. And who was forced to absorb the shock of that massive financial liability? The family pot. The collective, painstakingly saved resources of 3 other women who had spent decades living in extreme frugality. We watched in absolute horror as Janelle, the undeniable financial workhorse of the family, was practically pressured into cashing out her own deeply earned retirement 401k just to keep the family afloat and to accommodate Robyn's lifestyle. We witnessed the utter heartbreak of Mary Brown, sitting in a sterile attorney's office, weeping as she signed away her legal marriage, legally divorcing the only man she had ever loved, all under the guise that Kody needed to legally adopt Robyn's children. It was a masterclass in emotional manipulation, disguised as familial sacrifice. Over a deeply calculated 14-year history, Robyn has demonstrated an undeniable, chilling pattern of entering this family dynamic, siphoning their collective financial resources, and flawlessly playing the perpetual damsel in distress. Look at the staggering reality of what she has acquired while the other wives walked away with practically nothing. She manipulated her way into securing the sole legal marriage, legally binding herself to every single asset Kody possesses. She secured the sprawling million-dollar mansion filled with expensive art and luxury goods, entirely funded by the sweat equity of the wives she pushed out. She systematically maneuvered to have the most valuable, heavily desired lots of Coyote Pass legally transferred and secured in her own name. Now that the family pot is completely empty, entirely drained of its lifeblood, and Janelle is aggressively demanding the return of the hundreds of thousands of dollars she was promised, Robyn's deeply ingrained historical pattern of financial survival is violently kicking in. She came into this family carrying nothing but retail debt, and she is supposedly taking desperate, calculated measures to ensure she does not leave with it. So, what is the ultimate horrifying conclusion of this downward trajectory? If this deleted Zillow listing is truly Robyn's secret escape pod, Kody Brown is about to be left completely, utterly alone. Picture him standing in the center of that barren, mud-filled plot of land at Coyote Pass. No massive house, no adoring wives, no empire. Just a hollow, aging man drowning in suffocating property taxes he has absolutely no way to pay. The bank will not care about his patriarchal grievances. They will only care about the missed balloon payments. Will Kody be reduced to crawling back, desperately attempting to beg Janelle to return, not out of love, but entirely out of a sheer, frantic need to save himself from total financial annihilation? Or will Robyn preemptively strike, filing a ruthless petition for maximum spousal support, legally extracting half of whatever pitiful assets Kody has left to his name? The irony dripping from this situation is absolutely, undeniably poetic. Frankly, Kody is about to experience the exact same freezing, terrifying isolation and complete emotional abandonment that he mercilessly put Mary through for over a decade. The karma is arriving, and it is carrying an eviction notice. While Kody and Robyn are allegedly tearing each other to absolute shreds over the last remaining pennies in their depleted accounts, we must cast our eyes toward the incredible, staggering divide in support happening on the completely opposite side of this fractured family tree. Look at the absolute thriving joy of the original wives. Christine and Janelle, once pitted against each other in a toxic competition for Kody's meager affection, are now fiercely, unconditionally devoted to one another. They are traveling the world, they are expanding their own lucrative business ventures, they are glowing with vitality, and most importantly, they are completely, 100% financially independent. They do not need to check a family pot to buy groceries. Furthermore, David Woolley, Christine's fiercely protective new husband, has reportedly stepped up in the most profound way, quietly becoming the true, stabilizing father figure for the countless children that Kody so callously abandoned in his relentless pursuit of Robyn's approval. The contrast is visually and emotionally staggering. Kody demanded absolute blind loyalty, ruling with an iron fist of toxic patriarchy, and his reward is total, suffocating isolation. Christine offered genuine, unconditional love and steady support, and in the end, she won the entire family. The greatest revenge they could ever exact upon Kody Brown is simply living beautifully without him. And they are doing exactly that while his world burns to the ground. But here is the absolute exclusive gossip, the deeply guarded, highly secretive financial maneuver that you will not hear anywhere else. A little bird whispering from deep within the Flagstaff financial community told me a truly shocking piece of alleged information. Rumor has it that Robyn has allegedly opened a secret, entirely separate bank account, meticulously hidden under a completely different, unidentifiable limited liability company name. This ghost. The account is entirely untraceable by Kody's current financial advisors. Whispers are circulating that she has been quietly, methodically funneling small, undetectable amounts of TLC royalty money into this black site account for the last 8 straight months. She is reportedly skimming off the top of the very income Kody believes is keeping them afloat. If Kody discovers this hidden stash, if he looks at the banking ledgers and realizes the woman he sacrificed his entire universe for is siphoning their last remaining cash, the explosion is going to be absolutely biblical. The betrayal will shatter whatever fragile sanity he has left. Is Robyn utilizing this deeply hidden, untraceable LLC to secretly fund the down payment for that luxury Sedona townhouse? When you connect the deleted Zillow listing with these rumors of a ghost account, the picture becomes terrifyingly clear. It certainly looks like a masterful, silent exit strategy is being funded right under the nose of a man too blinded by his own rage to see the knife being slipped into his back. Beyond the salacious real estate gossip, beyond the hidden LLCs and the missing money, we are forced to confront the devastating, heavy emotional weight of this rapidly deteriorating situation. We cannot look away from the collateral damage. Think about the youngest, most vulnerable members of this household, Solomon and Ariella. These children have been intensely sheltered, intentionally isolated from their older siblings, and raised in a suffocating house of extreme paranoia during the global pandemic. They were taught that their father was the ultimate protector, and their mother was the flawless, obedient wife. Now, the walls of that illusion is violently caving in. They are reportedly sitting in their bedrooms, listening as their parents' marriage implodes in a barrage of screaming matches and shattered glass. The strict, fundamentalist Mormon upbringing deeply ingrained in Kody taught him that his wives must remain completely, unquestioningly submissive to his priesthood authority. For years, Robyn played the role of the sweet, submissive, perfectly obedient wife with absolute, terrifying perfection. But she only played the role until the money began to dry up. The moment the financial security vanished, the submissive mask slipped, revealing a desperate survivor willing to scorch the earth to protect herself. The profound emotional trauma currently being inflicted on these younger children, who are being forced to watch their supposedly perfect, divinely ordained family crumble into a toxic wasteland of secret bank accounts and bitter hatred, is truly, deeply devastating. They are the ultimate victims of Kody and Robyn's greed. Now, I must emphasize with absolute unwavering clarity that these labyrinthine real estate maneuvers, these deeply buried secret accounts, and these explosive screaming matches are all allegedly occurring behind a meticulously maintained wall of public silence. Robyn has not come forward and officially announced a legal separation. Kody is still physically walking the streets of Flagstaff, gripping his steering wheel, and pretending to the outside world that the patriarchal kingdom is perfectly intact. He is operating under a desperate delusion, aggressively masking the rot that is actively devouring his life from the inside out. The sheer psychological terror of this situation lies in the waiting, the suffocating tension of anticipating the exact moment this fragile, the paper-thin facade will finally shatter into a million irreparable pieces. Will we be forced to watch this agonizing slow-motion car crash play out in highly edited, heavily manipulated fragments during an upcoming season of the show? Or is the network actively colluding to keep this monumental collapse under strict, non-disclosure agreements to protect a massive, ratings-shattering season finale? The absolute truth is currently locked away behind the heavy oak doors of that Flagstaff mansion, buried under piles of unpaid invoices and toxic resentment. But the foundational cracks in their public image are growing far too massive for anyone to ignore. The silence from their camp is not a sign of peace. It is the deafening silence that immediately precedes a catastrophic explosion. We must also deeply examine the reality television machinery that is quietly operating in the background of this impending tragedy. For over a decade, Kody and Robyn have willingly sold their souls, their privacy, and their children's childhoods to a network in exchange for a lifestyle they could never legitimately afford on their own. They have lived their entire existence entirely dependent on the continuous injection of network cash. But the cameras are ruthless, and the producers are not their friends. The network executives are undoubtedly watching the same deleted Zillow listings, tracking the same hidden LLCs, and monitoring the exact same crumbling dynamics that we are. They know that the era of the sprawling plural family is completely dead and buried, and they know that the only remaining profitable storyline is the absolute, unmitigated destruction of Kody Brown's final marriage. The cameras are allegedly waiting in the wings, perfectly positioned to capture every single tear, every single screaming match, and every single moment of Kody's agonizing realization that he has been entirely outplayed by the only woman he ever truly protected. The reality television machine built his ego, and now that exact same machine is meticulously preparing to broadcast his ultimate annihilation to millions of viewers who are actively cheering for his downfall. But remember that high-profile, heavily guarded attorney I explicitly mentioned at the very beginning of this deep dive? I promised you the chilling details, and the reality of this legal maneuver is far more sinister than anyone could have possibly anticipated. Deeply embedded sources now aggressively allege that the specific lawyer Robyn was seen secretly consulting with does not merely handle standard amicable separations. This specific attorney is a notorious, ruthless shark who specializes entirely and exclusively in high-asset, fiercely high-conflict divorces where massive amounts of hidden wealth and heavily concealed assets are involved. Why on earth would Robyn Brown, a woman who claims to be drowning in debt alongside her deeply devoted soulmate, secretly require the aggressive services of a forensic asset-hiding specialist if she was not meticulously planning the ultimate, catastrophic blindside? This is not about simply filing legal paperwork to dissolve a union. This is about deploying an army of forensic accountants to aggressively scour every single one of Kody's business dealings, his gun show inventory, his hidden physical cash, and every last remaining drop of TLC royalty money. This lawyer is allegedly building a fortified legal war room designed to freeze Kody's remaining accounts and ensure Robyn extracts maximum financial blood before he even realizes he is bleeding. Let us completely deconstruct the terrifying mechanics of this alleged escape plan because it is nothing short of a Machiavellian masterstroke. When you connect the heavily concealed digital breadcrumbs, the horrifying picture comes into absolute, staggering focus. You have the secret, untraceable LLC silently siphoning network cash for 8 consecutive months. You have the abrupt, midnight deletion of a pending Zillow listing for an ultra-luxury Sedona townhouse directly tied to Robyn's personal real estate agent. And now, you have the consultation with a ruthless legal assassin who specializes in freezing assets and completely destroying the opposing party in high-conflict family court. Robyn is allegedly utilizing Kody's own money, entirely behind his back, to fund the legal and physical infrastructure required to permanently destroy him. She is supposedly mapping out the escape routes, securing the safe houses, and arming the legal mercenaries, all while smiling in his face and blaming his former wives for their misery. The sheer level of calculated, cold-blooded premeditation required to pull off a maneuver of this magnitude is deeply terrifying. Kody has spent years arrogantly believing he was the smartest man in every single room he entered, completely oblivious to the undeniable fact that he invited a highly evolved financial parasite into his home, and she is now preparing to completely sever the host. And what becomes of Coyote Pass, the sprawling, cursed piece of earth that served as the ultimate catalyst for the complete eradication of this family? Paint the cinematic picture in your mind. The property taxes are compounding, the high-interest loans are reaching their absolute maturity, and the mud continues to wash away the trenches that were supposed to hold the foundation of a massive, plural utopia. If Robyn successfully executes this secret escape plan, utilizing her hidden funds to flee into the red rocks of Sedona, Kody will be left standing entirely alone on that barren wasteland. Coyote Pass will no longer represent a dream of patriarchal dominance. It will become a colossal, deeply humiliating monument to his extraordinary hubris. The banks will inevitably swarm. Foreclosure notices will aggressively be nailed to the trees. The land that Christine, Janelle, and Mary poured their life savings into, the land that Kody ripped away from them through relentless emotional manipulation, will be mercilessly seized and auctioned off to the highest bidder. The absolute, undeniable poetic justice of Kody losing the very dirt he sacrificed his entire family to acquire